You ever stop and think, wow, that would make a great story? Same here. On Cat's Stories, we pull together short tales from life that'll make you laugh, think, or just go, yep, been there. My name's Kathleen and let's get started. And for our next post, am I the idiot for telling my BIL to worry about his own wife? I, 31M, have been married to my wife 28F for 10 years. We have 4 great kids together, and while we do have our squabbles here and there, we have a solid relationship. So a couple weeks ago my stepsister and her new husband come to our town and ask us to go out with them. My wife and I get a sitter for the kids, and we meet them at a bar. Both my wife and I drank 2 beers over the course of the 4 hours we were there, but my stepsister, and especially her husband, got wasted. At around beer 10 for my brother-in-law, somehow talk of our weddings engagements came up. I was mostly talking to my brother-in-law, so I'm 99% sure this came from my wife and my stepsister. Which was fine. Whatever. I honestly didn't think anything of it until my brother-in-law told my stepsister to show us her ring. We've seen it before this BTW. We were both in the wedding. I'm also going to slide in here that my brother-in-law's parents are rich. I don't know about his finances, but I do know they have money, and he works for their business. Moving on, then he asks my wife what hers looks like because he's never seen it. True, they hadn't met when I married my wife, and my wife says I'm not wearing it. Was this a surprise to me? No, I can't tell you the last time I saw her wear her rings. She's a housewife, and I'm not knocking that at all, but she just doesn't wear them 247 at home, and as a result of that she doesn't stop and think, hey, I'm going to Walmart, let me go grab my rings. Anyway, my brother-in-law makes a big deal of it, basically saying she would wear them if she cared about our marriage at all, pointing out that I was wearing mine and I was, but to be fair, it came in like a 6-pack on Amazon. They're the rubber ones. If I lose one of them, and I have more. Now, I don't care about people having opinions, but what I do care about is when they are trying to drive those opinions home to the point my wife feels bad about herself when she's done nothing wrong, and that's what started happening. After both our wives go to the bathroom later and he went in a little more to me with things I won't say here, it ended with me telling him that I could trust my wife with or without a ring. If he couldn't trust us even with one, maybe he should worry more about that and not whether my wife wears the rings I paid for. Me paying for them was a really big thing for him for some reason. Since then, I guess he's been shitty to my stepsister about her wanting to come for Christmas with our family and blamed it on me, and when I talked to my dad he told me that they weren't coming because of what I said. Now other family members aren't coming because they aren't, and I guess it's a thing and it just feels stupid. Was I wrong? And for our next post, am I the idiot? My dad has this sacrifice system, and I really am not sure if this is right. Recently, I had gone to a family event that I wanted to go to with my mother only, as my father said he was uninterested the previous day. The night before, however, he said he wanted to follow along. We said we'd be more than happy for him to tag along. When we reached there, we looked around, and when my mother went to the bathroom, I decided to sit at the staircase and wait for her to come back so we can continue together as look-see as a family, and in the meantime, while waiting, use my phone. My dad had just returned from helping us park the car, and he saw me on the phone. First thing he did was to start berating me for using the phone, and said, I sacrificed my weekend to come out to your event, and you sit here and play your stupid phone. You are wasting my precious weekend by watching your gadget. Like WTF. He chose to come along, but then said I'm wasting his weekend by using the phone. Like it wasn't like I was walking around and stuck to the phone and ignored my parents. I really don't know, am I the idiot for using my phone while waiting? He also pulls this sacrifice precious weekend thing pretty often, even when I'll do things that doesn't appear inherently wrong. Edit, I definitely am at fault here, because I have over-exaggerated the situation here. He was angry, but not to this extent where he swore. I realize I must also understand that I know his work is very stressful as he holds an important role, so the stress is pent up over the weekend. I apologize in advance. I was angry in the moment. He is a very loving father, but he has moments where he is unfair like this. And for our next posts, am I the idiot for not helping my 23F husband 25M get ready for work? My husband is furious with me and I'm a little conflicted. We had some friends over last night until 2 a.m. Unusual for us, but we haven't seen these friends in a while, so we were catching up. We went to sleep in good spirits. My child woke up quite a lot during the night, so I had to console her and basically sleep in her room for most of the night. Finally, just before 7 a.m., she seemed completely out, so I was able to climb into my own bed, but my husband woke up 5 minutes later and scrambles out of bed and yelling at me, "Why did you turn off the alarm?" I didn't. I wasn't even in the room. He turned on the lights in the room and ran out. I could hear him thumping about, but I was really tired, so I pulled the blanket over my head and continued sleeping. He banged into the room and yelled at me again, "Why aren't you helping me get ready?" I just ignore him, and I can hear that he's pissed off by the way he's breathing and walking. 20 minutes later, he's out of the house and left all the lights on everywhere, and he texted me that he's upset with me. That's the situation. But here's the thing first, this is usually the normal time that he gets up, and I usually don't help him in the mornings. But he keeps asking me to second. I wasn't always a stay-at-home mom, still work from home about part-time. I only recently started it 2 months ago upon his request, and before that I was a full-time working mom, and before that I was the sole breadwinner working overtime while he went to college. Do you know how many times he's helped me get ready when I had to get out of the house by 6 a.m.? None. 0. When I was the sole breadwinner, I woke up at 5 a.m. and he woke up at 10 a.m. And then when he got a job, he woke up at 7 a.m. I always made sure to be quiet and not wake him even if I was late. He has never made me lunch, breakfast, or dinner. Yet, he expects me to have all that ready for him. So am I the idiot for not helping him get ready? This is important because I have a wall of text I want to text him about how unfair I think his expectations are. And for our next post, am I the idiot for not letting my mom know about how I save and spend my money? Pretty much the title. I'm a 22M, and I have my own bank account since I was 18. My mom is also with me in the account, but only in emergencies. For example, if I'm deeply sick and can't go to the bank. The bank has its own banking app, and we're given codes to enter the app. I didn't give those to my mom, but she snoops around my bedroom constantly and must have found them. Now she enters the app and checks how much I have, how much I spend, and everything else. And lately I saved up and invested enough for a car. The car cost $8,000 and I put down a deposit of $4,000. I've been working at this place for 6 months, and apparently she thinks that I'm selling drugs and where the money came from. Besides my main job, I have a side income where I'm making FPV drones in my local town, and I've been getting a ton of requests. And she knows, but she doesn't know anything about my hobbies, so has no idea how much I make with that. I didn't tell her at first that I had bought a car. I was gonna surprise her, but she saw me in it this Saturday night, and that's when the argument happened. And apparently she thinks it's her own right to know everything about my money, because I'm her son and because she cleans my room the rare occasions I don't do it myself. She used this as an argument, and what's worse is she has her foot in a cast, and instead of working on Saturdays to get even more money, I've been staying home to help her take showers and taking care of our baby sister. I ended up screaming at her out of anger that she has no right to check my bank account without my permission, and if I wanted to tell her where I spend my money I would have. I have no problem. But I do have a problem with her already knowing where I spend my money before I even tell her so. But this was before I was quiet, and she didn't even let me speak and already screaming at me. I gave the example of my older sister and asked her if she had my sister bank accounts too. She said yes, because my older sister tells her everything, and I ended up replying that I am not my older sister and I want my privacy. My money came from my employer, not from my mom's bank account, so I think I have some right to keep my stuff private. She started screaming and crying for me to go away. This isn't the first time either, and I've talked to her before about this, and she kept doing it. Am I the idiot? And for our next post, am I the idiot for accusing my grandma of lying to everyone? Me and my grandma. An argument over text not too long ago. Everyone was supposed to go to New York for her birthday. I didn't know about this until a week before the trip. Turns out, my grandma had lied to everyone and said that my mom said no to me going, which was completely a lie, as my mom didn't know about this trip either. The only reason I knew was because of my sister, let's call her Chana. So Chana had texted me asking me why I wasn't going to the trip. I was obviously confused as I didn't hear about a trip, so Chana had explained to me about the trip. So I texted my grandma asking her why. She said I couldn't go. By this point I was crying, asking my dad if he could call because I was heartbroken. In the heat of the moment I had texted my grandma asking her why she would lie like that. Then she explained that I didn't like the previous trip to Atlanta due to her now husband doing nothing but spoiling his kid. For an example, we were supposed to get seafood, but her husband's kid didn't want seafood even though they served chicken nuggets, burgers, fries, etc. at the restaurant. So instead we got Pizza Hut. That is just one of the many things that happened during the trip. I had explained to my mom that I didn't like that fact, but otherwise I loved Atlanta. Circle back to the texting. I called her a liar and a bitch because the way she didn't try to fix the problem and instead removed me from the trip. Am I the idiot? That's all for now. If you enjoyed the stories, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Got a story to share? Drop it in the comments. I'm always up for reading them. Until next time, it's Kat. Goodbye.